humans of the world, I'm Pragya Gargi and today is a Tuesday which calls for True Crime Tuesday. If you're interested in true crime stories, serial killers, cults, UFO tales, paranormal activities, basically anything spooky kooky, please consider subscribing to my channel because that is what I discuss over here every second Tuesday. Now in 17th century Italy, a woman lay on the table a bowl of soup for her husband to eat. It might look rather harmless, but it was actually laced with a very potent poison. And as soon as the husband put his lips to the spoon, she screamed for him to not eat it. He of course grew suspicious and he asked why, what's there in the soup? And she confessed that she had put poison in it. The husband immediately turned her in to the authorities and I bet she regretted her decision because upon torture she admitted that she had bought this poison called Aqua Tofana from a lady named Giulia Tofana. So who was this fabled Giulia Tofana who helped women kill around 600 men with her poison makeup? While not much is known about the background of Giulia Tofana, we do know that she was born around 1620 in Palermo, Sicily. Growing up, she married a man who died shortly, leaving her as a widow. She moved to Rome with her daughter, and over there she started this business of selling this lethal concoction to a group of reliable ladies. And soon she became to be known as a friend for troubled ladies. Now we must note that during this time in Italy, unlimited power was afforded to the men of the time, which meant that women did not have a lot of say about how their life went and how it took shape. They did not have that many opportunities to even better the situation. They had absolutely no standing in the society and they suffered untold abuse. In fact, women who were stuck in these bad marriages with violent husbands who could not get any help from the law, by the way, they just preferred being a widow instead. So what was the solution? To kill off the husbands. And the choice of weapon? Poison. And no one was more skilled in crafting and packaging poison for these suffocated ladies than Giulia Tofana. To those who didn't know, she was just having a business dealing in cosmetics. She made these powder cases and liquids which would help enhance women's beauty. And that made for a very good front to disguise her actual best-selling product, Aqua Tofana. Aqua Tofana was a colorless, odorless, tasteless poison which was made of arsenic, lead and belladonna. Yeah, terrible mixture. And it came in this bottle which was labeled as Manna of Saint Nicholas of Bari. Now this Manna of Saint Nicholas, this was actually a very popular healing ointment at the time. So because this was labeled as that, it could easily blend in a woman's nightstand or vanity table. And the husbands had no clue that their wives' nightly beauty regime was actually their death warrant. Now another element which made Giulia's poison so masterfully deceitful was how it killed its victims. Now after having the first dose, the victim would suffer from exhaustion and physical weakness. Upon the second dose, it would bring about stomach aches and vomiting, and the third or the fourth dose usually would take care of the rest. The poison and the way of administering it just left the doctors and the investigators think that the victims had died out of some sort of mystery illness or disease, and the slow nature of the poisoning meant that the victims had enough time to get their orders in affair. To get their affairs in order. Yeah. Which means to make a will, and of course a part of the property would go to the loving wife, right? So the wife, she had this win-win situation over here. Giulia was so confident in her poison that she actually insisted these wives to tell to the officers to conduct a post-mortem on their husbands. And in the post-mortem, they would not find anything because that poison was undetectable. There was no traces of poisoning to be found, and any suspicions left on the wife would also be removed now. She would just be such an innocent, dainty lady, and that was a slick move. So Giulia was careful to sell her products to people or women she knew very well and women who were recommended by her past clients. And the past clients, like these clients, were pretty vigilant as well because of course they want their head on their shoulders, right? They do not want to be separated by it. And I believe that some of these women who visited her store actually didn't know what was going around. Like they really just wanted some cosmetic. Because Giulia used to keep a list of the women who came there for especially the Aqua Tofana. And that list meant that even if one of them was found out, this entire lot was going to hell. And that exactly would have happened had any of these ladies blabbered about the secret poison which they were harboring. It was basically like this kind of an invite-only party which you are never invited to. Yeah, just imagine that. And guess what? Tofana's business continued to flourish for 50 years. Yes, she was able to fool the authorities for decades. And she would have continued to do so had that bowl incident which I mentioned earlier in the video not happened. Now when that lady got captured and tortured, she named Tofana in front of the authorities who conducted a wide search for her. But in the meanwhile, someone spread a rumor that Giulia had poisoned the entire town's water supply, and after that there was no saving for Giulia. And after some tussle, they were able to arrest her in 1651 and subjected her to horrific torture. Tofana confessed to killing over 600 women from 1633 to 1651 in Rome alone. And I think that number could have even been inflated or reduced considering that her confession came during torture. But nevertheless, Tofana was executed in Campo de Fiori in Rome in 1659, along with her daughter and a few close associates. It didn't end there. Dozens of lower class women who were her clients were also gathered about and executed. The higher class women who were her customers were imprisoned. But what's remarkable about Tofana's legacy is how it has turned into this kind of a folklore now, which keeps popping up in history from time to time. In fact, 100 years later from Tofana's arrest, when the famous composer Mozart had fallen ill at the age of 35, he allegedly said, "I feel definitely that I will not last much longer. I am sure that I have been poisoned. I cannot rid myself of this idea. Someone has given me Aqua Tofana and calculated the precise time of my death." If poison is truly a woman's weapon, no one has wielded it like Giulia Tofana. I would definitely like to know your view on this. Like, what do you think of these women who were captured in these really bad marriages and decided to kill off their husbands because they had no other way of bettering the situation? Do you think, if not justifiable, their actions were understandable? Let me know what is your thought on this in the comment section below, and I'll see you the next Tuesday. Till then, take care of yourself.